If you don't believe in yourself, no one will do it for you. Where there's greatness, guys, there's always a way. Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors are just a short ways away from embarking on perhaps one of their greatest NBA playoff runs ever. For the first time in the last half-decade, they'll be coming in as underdogs. And you know what? I love it. Here are the 6 essential must-dos for the Golden State Warriors in order to win the 2021 NBA championship. And it starts with a saying you've probably already heard before. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. The Golden State Warriors need to sign Gary Payton II. The Mitten was signed to a 10-day contract twice this year. In the 7 games he played for the Warriors, in very limited minutes, he shot 75% from the field and 50% from beyond the arc. But more than that, what I saw was energy on the defensive end.
Mannion for 3. And it's Payton II coming out with the loose ball.
For y'all who don't know, Payton was in the G League this year, where he won the Defensive Player of the Year award. Every team needs that 6'3"-ish defensive-minded hound that can pester the other team, make steals with very active hands, and just have that tough-minded dog mentality. Look at Patrick Beverley and how he contributes to the Clippers. Remember young Rajon Rondo when he was on the Boston Celtics? And how about Tony Allen and the defensive assignments he had on Kobe Bryant? Sure, the Warriors already have an NBA Defensive Player of the Year in Draymond Green, as well as Andrew Wiggins, who has improved his defense considerably. But man, Gary Payton II coming off the bench would bolster this team's defense and just make games a nightmare for opposing teams in the playoffs. One difficult thing I can see about this is the fact that other players have been playing all year for the Dubs. So it can be a hard coaching decision just to swap out rotations like that. But no one said that coaching is an easy job. Speaking of easy jobs, nothing goes easy when Steph goes to the bench. Man, drives me to drink. Oftentimes, when the second unit is inserted into the game, the jump shots stop falling and the Warriors seem to enter a panic zone phase. When the Warriors are in panic mode, turnovers occur, and what was a 10-point lead vanishes in the blink of an eye. This second unit needs to make it an emphasis to attack the rim more. When you attack the rim, good things happen. You get to the line and increase your free throw attempts. You slow the game down to allow Steph to rest more, and you get the other team in early foul trouble. Jordan Poole, as good of a shooter as he is, isn't Steph Curry. I mean, no one is. But what Poole can do on a consistent basis is make plays towards the basket and either get to the paint and attack the basket or draw the foul.
Poole off the handoff, got it to go off glass. His film from his rookie season in order to make...
The Warriors are currently 18th in the league at getting to the free throw line, but that number is going to have to increase for them to have success in the postseason. Speaking of the postseason, do y'all remember what the Miami Heat did last year in the playoffs? They swept the Pacers, embarrassed the number 1 seed in the league, the Milwaukee Bucks, and they ousted the Boston Celtics. What was one of their secrets? Focus. While other NBA players invited their spouses and family into the bubble, this wasn't the case for Jimmy Butler, or should I say, Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Buckets refused to let any of his family into the bubble and called the whole thing a business trip because he didn't want to get distracted. He wanted to stay focused and in the zone. Focus is such an undervalued aspect of the game that doesn't get tracked in any stat sheet, but it's definitely there. And the Warriors definitely need to collectively come together and just focus on basketball. It can lower their number of turnovers. It can lower their number of personal fouls. I mean, LeBron James goes into hyper-focus mode every postseason. He turns off his social media, he turns off his phone, and just turns off everything. He calls it 0 Dark 30 23 mode. Why does he do it? Because focus can be the difference between winning and losing. The late great Kobe Bryant, we all know, had an insane work ethic and got to the court not 1 hour, not 2 hours, not 3 hours, but 4 hours before tip-off to start getting up shots and start his mental preparation. Now, I'm just illustrating these examples because for the Golden State Warriors to win this year's championship, collectively, as a group, they need to zone in and eliminate every outside distraction possible. Speaking of group, this Golden State Warriors group is perhaps the smallest team in the league. I mean, their tallest player in the rotation is Kevon Looney, who stands 6'9". That really hampers their ability to get rebounds, and there's a saying that the one who controls the rebound controls the game. That doesn't mean, though, that the Warriors have to lose in this department. They need to make it a habit of having multiple players crash the boards every single possession. Boxing out and fighting for rebounds is one area the Warriors must attack in order to win it all. In the playoffs, especially when you're going up against teams like the Clippers, who shoot collectively about 40% from beyond the arc, if you give them any extra possessions, it'll lead to an outside shot, which can be just completely demoralizing, especially after your team just played 24 seconds of great defense. Steve Kerr said this is a disease amongst current NBA players, that they don't box out and get rebounds.
It signals to me a modern team. This isn't the modern NBA. Guys don't box out.
But as a head coach, man, that's your responsibility to instill these into a team, especially when you don't have the luxury of a Klay Thompson or a Kevin Durant who can just get the buckets back easily on the other end. And when it comes to easily getting buckets on the other end, both Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins need to do a better job of that. Draymond Green is a walking triple-double every single night. However, oftentimes when he drives towards a lane, he's looking for the pass instead of looking for his own shot. What this results in is a turnover and a fast break on the other end, and ultimately a 4-point swing.
Here's Curry with a nice pass inside. Ball's batted around and out to Cole.
This can't happen in the playoffs, and Draymond knows this. He's more than capable of making many of these shots himself, and needs to take them when the shot's there.
Here's Steph. Now Green drives, attacks the rim.
Also, in 2016, Draymond shot about 39% from the three-point line, versus just 25% this year. He doesn't need to shoot when there's a hand in his face, but he needs to make those open threes. Andrew Wiggins, on the other hand, needs to move more without the ball. He's more than capable of cutting back doors and catching easy lobs and just finishing at the rim.
Here's Curry coming off the screen. They double him quickly. So he throws up a lob that's right on target for Wiggins.
For the Golden State Warriors to win it all this season, Wiggins needs to be the recipient of many easy baskets. Last but not least, Steve Kerr needs to step up his game as a motivator and as a matchmaking strategist. He has a laid-back style, and it worked for 5 years when he had all the talent in the world with Klay and KD alongside Steph and Curry. But now, Curry is his only weapon, and that laid-back approach perhaps needs to increase in intensity a bit. I mean, did you all see Last Chance U basketball on Netflix? Do y'all remember how Coach Mosley spoke with his players when they weren't doing their jobs?
Don't put on the show, freaking win the game. Don't put on the show. You win the game. Don't put on...
Running back slowly, not boxing out, not fighting. Unacceptable. Steve Kerr is a champion amongst champions with 8 rings, but this year, he's going to need to bring out the fight a bit more than he's normally comfortable with. He's also going to have to take a page out of Eric Spoelstra's book and study what works, and keep making adjustments as the playoff series continue. Know thy enemy is what Sun Tzu preached. It applies just as much to basketball as it does to anything else. Really watching film on other teams and understanding weaknesses and exploiting them is going to be key for this Warriors team when the regular season concludes. I understand that currently in the league, there are powerhouses such as the Brooklyn Nets and teams with legendary players like LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. I understand that many teams have all done significantly better than the Warriors in the regular season. I understand that per Vegas odds, the Warriors are way down the list. But I'll leave you here today with what the former Houston Rockets coach Rudy Tomjanovich said to the media after winning the 1995 NBA championship. And that is,
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
until next time, guys, peace